And that program is extremely valuable. And the way Polo Custom Products designed the student experience is excellent. See, you make them responsible when the first morning we are entering Polo Custom Products, they are welcomed by the CEO. And then the whole week they discuss with the executive team. That makes them very responsible. And then they put a lot of work.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Inspiring Innovations. Today, I have a special guest with us. This man has 3 PhDs, I believe. Two. One in nuclear engineering. He may be a descendant of Vlad the Impaler, according to his dean of the business school. He worked at universities like DePaul, Washington State University, until our current president of Washburn University, Dr. Julianne Mazicek, recruited him when she was the dean of the business school to come run the international business program at Washburn. So he tortured me as a student many, many years and enjoys torturing students today when I got my MBA at Washburn. And so I got to take part in the international business program that we'll be talking about today. I traveled to China and got to see Beijing and Shanghai and Hong Kong. And then we spent a good portion of our trip in Wuhan, China, of all places. And so it was a really transformational experience for me. I always went out of my way to take any international marketing class or business class that Stoica offered in my MBA program. And so he's had a huge influence on me, my interest in international business, and on so many students today. So today we have the opportunity to talk about a partnership that Polo Custom Products and Washburn University have been able to take advantage of for, almost 3 or 4 years now. I think this might be the 4th or 5th year. And it's been a tremendous value to Polo, and I think it's valuable for the students as well. So, Stoica, do you want to start with just talking about the history of that program and how it came to Polo Custom Products?
Oh, sure. Very interestingly, Washburn University wants to send their students abroad, and we are part of exchange programs like Magellan program, where we have tens of American universities and tens of European universities exchanging students. And all American universities are bleeding money because the Europeans are coming here and American students don't want to go there. And then we thought, how can we increase their appetite for traveling abroad and for international business? And they designed a class called International Business Experience, where students from our university with other universities work for companies. So they are divided in teams and they work for companies online for most of the semester. At the end of the semester, they go there, and for a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, they finish their work in the companies that they were consulting for. And then we have cultural experience. And in the dean's mind, the cultural experience is as important as business experience. So we offer that, while there in China or in Europe or in Brazil, that balanced approach where they work for the company, then they present their findings, and they have a big workshop where all students will present, findings for each company they work for, and then we have the cultural experience.
And you'd worked with different companies in town before Polo too.
Different companies in town, yes. We started, so we have 2 classes, 2 courses. One that's called the European experience, and the other one is Asian Latin American experience. And for each of these courses, we have different partners. We have for the China Latin American experience, we have universities in China and in Brazil and in Europe that are participating. And for a European experience, we have a partner university in Belgium, and that's where it's designed a bit differently than the Latin American and China experience, because we have two companies that accepted that we work for them, an American company and a Belgian company. So the Belgian students are coming here in March, at the beginning of March, at Polo Custom Products, and we spend here a week. We start the project. The project is actually given by the company before even the Belgian students are coming here. But see, my students and the Belgian students will work for 1 week at Polo Custom Products. They start working on the project and they will finish online in a couple of months. And then in May, usually mid-May, they will present their findings. And in parallel, they have a Belgian client. So in June, I'm taking the students to Belgium, and with the same team, Belgian-American team, we solve a problem for a Belgian company in Leuven. So that's very interesting. The students get a lot, both an American experience and the Belgian experience, and working together in an international setting with students from different universities.
Yeah, it's great. And, the American students try to plan a cultural experience for our Belgian counterparts. And, they always want to see a Walmart when they're here.
Yes. And a tornado.
And a tornado.
And they got one of the years, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, they got them both because that was a tornado warning, and then they were stuck in while being at Walmart. So they got both, tornado and tornado warning.
Yeah.
Not watched warning, though.
Right. What a value-packed experience they had.
We offer them the package.
Yeah. It's an incredible program, and I think we learn so much from the students, and you put it pretty well. We'd like to have practical problems for them to work on. And you said basically it's like, when you have guests over, you clean up your house. And that stuck out to me, because really when we come up with these projects for them to work on, we're looking at real business issues that we're trying to solve, but we might, as a lean and mean machine that we might not have the bandwidth or the time. And then we get to put these 12 brilliant young minds that are thinking differently and thinking, outside of the box around data that we've collected. And so even for us, just collecting the data around the problem or defining it in a way that, gives them the resources to solve this problem or come up with new ideas is incredibly valuable for Polo. Can you speak to the value that our students get out of these different types of projects?
Yes, and that program is extremely valuable, and the way Polo Custom Products designed the student experience is excellent. See, you make them responsible when the first morning, and that's on Monday, March the 2nd, whatever, the first Monday in March, we are entering Polo Custom Products. They are welcomed by the CEO. And then the whole week they discuss with the executive team. That makes them very responsible. And then they put a lot of work. I never saw a student that took it superficially, just because the way Polo Custom Products designed their experience. And now the team that's coming, they are looking forward to that, because they already got the news from the older students that it's extremely interesting. Not only the projects that are interesting, that trends, industrial trends, or studying the competition, or designing ads. But the atmosphere, see, you are coming with your friends from Belgium, you get to know them, you socialize at night, but in the morning and during the day, you are at Polo the whole day. So you not only get to work on the product, but on the projects, but what you get is also the culture, the way the colleagues in the company socialize, and the students socialize with them. So it's an incredible experience, and the students work hard. It's the only class where I can say that I never force the students to work. I never tell them again, hey, you have that assignment or whatever that is, because they work willingly because of the way the program and the guest structured their presence for 1 week, which is work, also discussion with the executive team, and then makes them extremely responsible.
Well, and I will say too, I mean, what they have come up with has been incredible for us. I mean, we use it, you know, I mean, they've come up with concepts for videos that we can showcase to the next group of students. And so it's great to hear that they enjoy it and that there's buzz that comes around that program. And I know our Belgian university said they basically have people on a waiting list for it.
Yes.
And it's a pretty selective process because it's such a great experience for the students, and it's a two-way street. And we still want to have this success story where we hire one of these students one day, because we do feel like it's an opportunity to help build future talent. And so that's another question that I wanted to kind of dive into is, how does this experience prepare these students for the real world?
I will start with job search and the job interviews. Even if there are a lot of testimonial evidence related to that, many things that students told me. See, when they applied for a job and they had a job interview, even if the employer had no interest in international experience, but in international business, but the fact that the students did something so different than going to class and taking notes and then responding to questions in exams, they have a real experience. They build up, they make them way more adults, way more responsible, and the employers welcome that. Very often my students told me, you know what, I got the job even if the company has no international business interest, but I got the job because of this class. Because the employer realized that I'm doing something differently, that it was, an important project, and I have the document to show, the PowerPoint, and look at what I worked and with whom I worked and for whom I worked. That maybe defines their career.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to kick off a career. And I think, when I went through the classes with the Fortune 500 company, and we presented to their executive team at the end of it, and the students present to our executive team whatever projects they're working on, and the executive team gets to see how much they took away, and they're always blown away by what the students come up with and the professionalism of the program. And so I wanted to kind of dive into some of the different projects that we've worked on in terms of, we've done things with, market research, like you talked about. We've done sub-branding for the different industries that we've served. We've done, different social media strategies, video concepts. And so as we prepare for this program for the next year, I know we've got one project identified so far, but what do you feel like the students really do well and gravitate towards?
It depends, because...
But before we get into that, this podcast is brought to you by Polo Custom Products. We are a custom manufacturer that specializes in sewing, sealing, and thermoforming. We work with project engineers, sourcing professionals, and buyers to design, engineer, and manufacture products that cannot afford to fail. If you're interested in working with us, visit our website at www.polocustomproducts.com and fill out a request for quote form. Now, back to the show.
Some are pretty well versed because they have some previous work experience, and they are good at coding, for example. Some are not good at coding at all. Some have even some experience with using artificial intelligence, several tools. We teach them in the class, in the general marketing classes, what for now, because that will change probably often in the future, but what tools are good for now, say, for, developing a marketing strategy. Some are good at that, some are not. But as a team, when you put the different strengths or the different students together, and then if we split them, some have to develop an ad and colors and color coding, whatever. Another team working on, I don't know what, research, figuring out competition. Then naturally they will team based on their strengths. Mm-hmm. So it's a variety. The students that are coming in a class like that have a variety of strengths, weaknesses too, but strengths. So, and they are very eager to, show that and then work on a project. So it was an unbelievable, and it is an unbelievable experience each and every time I see how they work, and they work harder than I expected, without being pushed to do that. And again, it's because of the responsibility of the host. It's not like an internship where they are somewhere on a desk and doing, filling cells in Excel. They are working on a project that, when presented, the CEO of the company will be there and the executive team will be there. So they have to take it seriously, and they take it seriously. So that's so important. The way the host company is treating the students is critically important. It's not an internship. It's a cooperation between a team of students and the company, where the company is very interested in the finding.
Another example of us cleaning up our house and getting things in order before having guests was that first year. I think we did that right before we had a national sales meeting, and we got our reps from all over the country together. And so that was, again, very helpful for us to learn, how to get our executive team aligned on different presentations that we want to. It was a great practice run through, and it made our company better, I think, in the long run. And so incredibly valuable program and partnership. Can you speak to a moment where you feel like you just really witnessed the students getting it, or something clicking, or some growth or some development in the work that they've been doing in these different projects?
What I see, and they take it very seriously, is brainstorming. So they do their research, and then they meet and they work and they are together physically 1 week at Polo. But then the Belgian students go back to Europe, and everything is happening online, on whatever. They put something together on YouTube or on Zoom, on Teams. And at times I'm not even invited, but at times I'm curious, and I want to be part of that, Zoom interaction. And that's satisfaction, that's job satisfaction, to see how they are fighting to come up with some results that make sense. Probably because they know that the executive team will be at the other end when they present, but it's a pleasure to see that. It's absolutely a pleasure. And what I didn't mention and I want to mention is another value added. It's business to business. Usually in business schools, what we teach when we teach marketing, when we teach everything, we teach business to customers, selling perfume, selling cars, selling whatever. Now, and we have very rarely, if any, examples or cases, business to business. Now they have the opportunity to get some experience in the business to business area, and probably half of them will work in business to business marketing and not business to customer. Sure, if you are hired by Procter, it's business to customer, but even then, it depends. But then the majority of companies are in the business to business, and in business to business industry. So that's a very good example of cooperation between universities and companies in the business to business area. That's missing otherwise.
Yeah, and it's very different, and
It's very different.
and we're unique in terms of even how we can market. It's
That's even more interesting
Right, yeah.
because again, Procter, okay, that whatever, you have hundreds of brands and you promote a brand, but here you are in no way, and for many reasons, not allowed to promote your brand. So how can you market it? Very interesting, and the students learn a lot here.
It's fun to educate them on the space, and we get them in front of our customers too. We usually have a customer interview.
And I like that.
Yeah. And it's great. I mean, our customers like it. We learn in the process because it's something we care about. And I encourage our students to look at opportunities within those companies because they're large international businesses, and there's offices all over the world a lot of times.
And see, that's not only customers, but they also talk to competitors. That's so very interesting. So I remember we had Zoom with different competitors that were talking, and our students were asking them whatever different aspects of their business. That was extremely interesting.
Yeah. It's a very unique space that we get to play in. There's a lot of intellectual property and highly classified stuff. So all of our students sign NDAs to even participate in the program, and they've been very respectful of that, and it's just been incredibly rewarding. Is there any other value that you think this program brings to Washburn as a whole?
That's good marketing for Washburn too, and good visibility. And for example, I mean, now I'm referring to China, to the other type of class. We are celebrating this spring the 20th anniversary of cooperation between the Wuhan University of Science and Technology and Washburn. And the Chinese make a big deal out of that. They wrote to President Xi even.
Wow.
That big, because we did some research, they did research, and using also artificial intelligence. And this is the longest continuous program in the world between two universities, not by having a common degree, but for hands-on projects.
Wow.
Exactly as we do with Polo. So, we have Chinese companies, we have our students with Chinese students working together and working for that Chinese company. Sure, it's done the opposite of the program with Polo because first we do online, do all the research, whatever, and then we have 1 week at the end where we work physically for that company, and then we have the presentation. But that's lasted for 20 years, even during the pandemic, which is very interesting. But it's actually the same concept. It's hands-on. So not classes where you have lectures and students take notes. Students learn by doing and by discussing, by interacting with the executive team, with the marketing department, asking questions again, because that's the other thing that Polo is very good at. So the students leave Polo, and then we have 2 months where we work and finalize the project. We have a continuous interaction. The students will ask multiple questions. Again, we'll email. So it's not that we have 1 week at Polo and then nothing is happening. The interaction with the host is continuous. That's something that the students learn. They learn a lot about socializing, about business socializing on top of that. And Washburn is getting a lot of visibility, I will say, out of that.
That's really interesting to hear. That's one of the longest partnerships like.
According to some, we tried Claude, we tried ChatGPT, we tried Gemini. all said that for that type of program, not because otherwise, sure, you have cooperation between universities in establishing an MBA program or something like, but hands-on projects where, say, the students work for companies and develop a given project and then find solution for, say, marketing strategy, repositioning a product, whatever that is. That's the longest, according to all the sources, the longest program. Some are saying, and I don't dare to say, longest in the world. But definitely between Chinese university and Washburn on designing and then continuously working on projects like that for 20 years.
It kind of reminds me of, we've gone to Ireland for a trade show, and we have a lot of customers over there, and there's a lot of bars, pubs, that say they're the oldest known pub.
Yeah, that's true.
One of them has some documentation to back it up.
We have documentation too. So
there you go. Yeah. No, that's extremely incredible, and I will say, just that was such an eye-opening program for me to see how the cultural learning, but then the different cultural variations of doing business with another country and expectations you have going into a project versus the it just adds a whole nother element to the doing business.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
And that was honestly one of the things that attracted me to Polo was we have manufacturing partners in China and Vietnam and
Costa Rica.
And Dominican Republic. And so there's just been incredible. That was an incredible step in my journey to understand what all those ramifications are, all those interesting dynamics and different barriers. And now with Zoom and Teams, there's our customers, ourselves, where it's like there's a meeting at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. on Wednesday night to talk to our supplier over in Vietnam. And so they're taking meetings early in the morning, late at night, and, throughout the day. It's just it's an interesting dynamic.
Talking about that, most of the meetings between my students and the students in Europe or China are happening at 6 a.m. or at 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
They make me open the school and open the Chandler boardroom because they do, and then it happens almost weekly. So that's so interesting because they get very interested. Again, it's not faculty driven; it's student driven, and that makes the difference.
It's interesting because you don't hear that a lot about students waking up to get together at 6 a.m. in today's.
No, I have a class at 8 and they complain.
Right.
But at 6, they do it by themselves.
Yeah. They just want the keys to open the doors. What makes you excited about the future of this partnership with the Belgian partner that we have and Polo and where we're going with this?
See, I want Polo to be our client or our friend or our, partner for the next 200 years. See, I don't want that for another 2-3 years.
Record.
Have it some kind of institutionalization for that. Officially declare Polo as a lab for international business for students or something, and have the cooperation is unbelievable. And the students, it's not me, but the students feel at home at Polo. The serious way they take it makes me want to do that for the foreseeable future. Past my retirement, your retirement, we have to figure out how to do that because I see a lot of value.
Sounds like we need to get a memorandum of understanding in place here.
More than that, sometimes to frame something. This is officially also a lab for Washburn.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're thinking bigger than I am, and I love it. I love working on things that will outlast me, and
because it's your baby,
right? And not just that, but I mean Polo is a nearly 80-year-old company, and we have the great fortune of being able to stand on the shoulders of giants that built the foundation, that built an incredible world-class manufacturer. And so I just get to sell and market it. I'm sitting in a good spot.
That's, in a way, that's very, very, very important. See, marketing and R&D are the two expenses that can be neglected, and nothing is happening. Say Ford is not promoting, is not putting any money in marketing, in promotion for 2-3 months. Nothing is happening. But after 3-4 years, Ford doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. So that's the problem. The same thing is R&D, where if you don't spend money on new models and new cars, and nothing happens in 1 or 2 years. After that, you are gone. And that's the tragedy, because it's something that you have to pay for electricity, you have to pay for the workers, but you don't need to pay for it. But that's so important. That's killing you in the long term. R&D and marketing. They are the most important, actually. You don't exist anymore.
Exactly. And, a lot of our customers do take R&D very seriously. That's a big part of what Polo brings to the table, is support for those people within our materials, within our capabilities. But in manufacturing, a lot of people do look at sales and marketing as an expense on the P&L. And so, it's one of those things where it's easy to cut costs, but it's a lot harder to figure out how to create more value and to bring in more business. And we're playing in a unique space that's a lot of fun, and we're so grateful that the students do really lock in and focus and are motivated to wake up at 6 a.m. to speak to their counterparts across the world to do projects for us. I mean, it's just it's such a great program for Polo, and we're really grateful that Washburn partners with us.
And for Washburn also, an unbelievable opportunity.
Yeah. Well, Stoica, anything else to add? I really appreciate you being on the podcast today.
As I said, I want that to continue for the next 200 years, and then we'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have to figure out, between you and Kent, how to do that, so we will do it almost automatically every year.
I like it. I mean, I like when we think about 50-year problems, but 200-year problems, that's a good...
Okay, let's be more modest. 300 years.
Okay, yeah. 300 years. That's, I love it. Polo will be 380.
And trillions of dollars market share.
Washburn will be like 550 or something like that. So it's a really great partnership.
But serious, to have that permanently in our minds, and then have it. That's so important.
Yeah. We're gonna have to bring Kent in on that one. That's above my pay grade.
Okay, mine didn't too.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Stoica. We appreciate all that you do all that you've built. This is it's an incredible program. It's incredibly innovative. You've got a world record breaking program in this same space, and it really has transformed my career. And so I can't thank you enough. And
I also have to thank you. You are my boss. You are designing everything. So
if I don't get back to you, then you sick my dad, who's now a Washburn professor, on me, and so
and I'm doing that daily.
Yeah. And he's actually in Australia right now with our CEO and a lot of another Washburn posse over there. So thanks for your time, Stoica. Thanks for being on the podcast.
My
We're excited
pleasure.
for next round of students and the projects that they put out for Polo.
Yes, let's discuss about that. Thank you very much for having me.